Welcome to a Legendarium special about Percy Fawcett's quest for the lost city of Z. In this episode, we will talk about the great Amazon explorer Percy Fawcett and why he came to believe he would find a lost city in the heart of the Amazon rainforest. Percy Fawcett was born on August 18, 1867 to Edward Boyd Fawcett and Myra Elizabeth. Fawcett received his early education at Newton Abbot Proprietary College and then the Royal Military Academy in Woolwich. He earned a commission as a lieutenant of the Royal Artillery on July 24, 1886. This same year, Fawcett met his future wife, Nina Agnes Patterson, whom he later married. With her, he had two sons, Jack and Brian, and a daughter named Joan. On January 13, 1896, he became adjutant of the 1st Cornwall Artillery Volunteers and served in Hong Kong, Malta, and Ceylon. Fawcett joined the Royal Geographic Society in 1901 so he could learn cartography. There he became friends with legendary authors Henry Rider Haggard and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the creator of Sherlock Holmes. In 1906, Fawcett traveled to South America for the first time as a cartographer. The era of great European discovery ended long ago, but massive swaths of the world had yet to be mapped. With his steely blue eyes, manicured beard, and trademark Stetson hat, Percy Fawcett looked like the quintessential Victorian adventurer filling in the blank spaces on the map. More importantly, Fawcett acted like one. He created a map of the border between Brazil and Bolivia, deep on the western frontier of the Amazon jungle. Fawcett proved adept at navigating the challenges of the landscape and its inhabitants. After centuries of imperialism, Europeans treated the indigenous nations of South America and many other lands as savages. To his credit, Fawcett behaved with respect and humility when he encountered tribes in the jungle. He learned to bring gifts to honor the elders and ensure safe passage from chiefs. Between 1906 and 1924, Fawcett made 7 expeditions into the Amazonian jungle. On these trips, his teams found the source of the Heath River, navigated the border between Peru and Bolivia, and mapped the 193-mile-long Rio Verde to its source. Throughout, Fawcett marveled at and often feared the massive anacondas, spiders the size of chihuahuas, and dogs smaller than domestic tabby cats. Ladies and lords believed themselves in the middle of the jungle, going eye to eye with a jaguarundi when Fawcett told his tales in their dining rooms. His passion proved so captivating that his good friend Sir Arthur Conan Doyle used Fawcett's descriptions in a book called The Lost World, which would ultimately be adapted by Michael Crichton into Jurassic Park. However, World War I interrupted Fawcett's work. Fawcett served in the Royal Artillery on the Western Front, commanding a brigade despite being nearly 50 years old. His service earned him mention in dispatches by Field Marshal Sir Douglas Haig, along with the Distinguished Service Order in June 1917. Yet his thoughts never wholly left South America. During his expeditions, Fawcett found pottery shards on the jungle floor. He developed the idea that a mysterious lost city, which he named Z, existed deep in the Mato Grosso region, a belief reinforced by his discovery of a 1753 Portuguese report about a powerful town in the South American interior. Fawcett tried to raise funds after the war, but experts greeted his reports with scorn. They believed the Amazon jungle could not possibly sustain the large populations that Fawcett talked about. They called it a counterfeit paradise. Nonetheless, Fawcett remained captivated by the indigenous nation's stories of golden cities, sun worship, and virgin sacrifice. In 1920, Fawcett embarked on a solo expedition into South America, accompanied only by pack animals to find Z. Years of experience in the jungle gave him confidence, but after a crippling fever struck him down and he was forced to shoot his animals, Fawcett aborted the mission. Despite the failure, he remained certain that Z waited to be found. Fawcett's final expedition departed during April 1925. For this expedition, Fawcett had no shortage of volunteers, but he turned down the likes of Lawrence of Arabia in favor of his 21-year-old son Jack, who shared his father's near-religious zeal for the Z theory. The party also included Jack's best friend, Raleigh Rimnall. After loading up on mosquito netting, canned food, and machetes, the trio set sail from New Jersey in January 1925. Fawcett vowed to reporters, "We shall return, and we shall bring back what we seek." With years of experience behind him and 2 fit, loyal companions with him, Fawcett had reason to be optimistic. His expedition sailed from New Jersey to Rio de Janeiro before trekking inland to the remote outpost of Suiaba. There they purchased pack animals and hired a pair of indigenous guides. On April 20th, 1925, they ventured into a sweltering maze of dense undergrowth, piranha-infested rivers, and unmapped territory populated by hostile tribes. During the expedition's early weeks, swarming mosquitoes and blood-sucking gnats made sleep difficult and travel miserable. Rimmel's foot became severely swollen from tick bites. Undeterred, Fawcett set a demanding pace of between 10 and 15 miles a day, and once pulled so far ahead of his younger companions that he camped alone one night. On May 29th, the team reached Dead Horse Camp, the spot where Fawcett had to shoot his exhausted horse on the 1920 expedition. There they unloaded their equipment and sent the guides back to Cuiaba. Before the indigenous guides left, Fawcett handed over the last of the expedition's dispatches. They included a letter to his wife, Nina. He wrote, "Jack is well and fit and getting stronger every day. You need no fear of any failure." With that, the trio struck off into the bush alone. Fawcett warned that his expedition would go dark once it entered uncharted territory, but by 1927, nearly 2 years passed with no word. Newspapers that hailed Fawcett as impervious to the jungle began speculating that he died. Witnesses surfaced with bewildering rumors. One man claimed Fawcett went native and lived in the jungle. Another claimed that he had become chief of a tribe of cannibals who lived along the Xingu River. In 1928, the Royal Geographic Society's George Miller Dyott launched the first expedition to search for Fawcett. Dyott emerged from the jungle convinced that the expedition perished, though he found no remains. A defiant Nina Fawcett told reporters, "There is consequently still no proof that the 3 perished." She remained hopeful for her son and husband's return until her death. Another 100 men died searching for her husband in the Amazon jungle. Some offered reasonable explanations, saying that they likely died from parasitic infection, drowning, or jaguar attacks. Others claimed that Fawcett, long a dabbler in mysticism, vanished on purpose to create an occult commune in the jungle. A few found tantalizing clues, like Fawcett's signet ring and compass. The best clues surfaced in a 2005 expedition led by David Grant, who met with the Kalapalo tribe. They preserved a tale of their grandfathers urging Fawcett to turn back before he entered the territory of a cannibal tribe. Fawcett disregarded these warnings and likely became the guest of honor at a cannibal feast. Yet in death, Fawcett's theory about Z was vindicated. Some of the expeditions that searched for him discovered a complex of villages spread over 7,700 square miles, subsumed by the jungle during the 16th century. This complex likely made the pottery that Fawcett found. Excavations revealed the ruins of garden cities with earthen walls, complex road networks, and enough space for thousands of people. They lie within Mato Grosso, the region where Percy Fawcett hoped to find the lost city of Z, and those who went looking for him ultimately did. That wraps things up for this episode of The Legendarium. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, press like. If you want to see more, press subscribe. And if you've got anything to say, let me know in the comments section. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope that you have a great rest of the day.